Hey, welcome back to the Milton Price Report. This is the February 2012 edition. My name is Chuck, and the reason why we do these videos is because technology is now in a place where we can do some pretty amazing things, and I look at this as an opportunity to really, it's the next best thing to sitting right beside you reading through the report, and I hope that I'll add some extra information that you wouldn't be able to find in that report. Our team, there's four of us. There's myself, my wife, and we also have another realtor that works with us, Jennifer, and we also have Jenna, who's our client care coordinator and the person who actually puts together the reports for you. So that's the team there. We've done this about 1,000 times for people, and you've got some real good experienced pilots there. So the report itself, word of caution with the report, there's basically two ways to figure out the value of your house. And the first way, and the most common way that most realtors do it, is they look at what sold, and then that could be a month ago, 2 months ago, 4 months ago, an indeterminate amount of time, and they'll look and say, okay, what has your model gone for? What are similar sized homes and similar featured homes going for? What's happened on your street? And that's fine, but the problem with that is that it's historical information. It doesn't tell you the current reality, and especially when markets are changing up or down, what's more relevant is to look and say, what are you competing against? And so that's why we put some of the available homes as well. But it's a transient thing, because if you imagine your home, if you had 5 models just like you that all of a sudden come on the market the day after you list, your game changes a lot. So that's why competition oftentimes is the fine-tune knob to figure out the best place to list. And there's even strategic positions on sites like MLS.ca where you can actually nudge right in and you can get the benefit of double the exposure. So those are the kind of things that we educate our clients about. And even the fact that we do these reports, I mean, it's a very educational system. It's really, our team values are to lead with the giving hand, to give you information without any expectation of anything in return. And so this graph here is the average selling price, and we've gone all the way back from 2005, and you can see that there's a general trend of, you know, starting to heat up, and then we see the prices escalate in the spring, and then we start to see the dip towards the end of summer, and then another little ramp up in the fall. Now, usually when December, we had a really, at least from an average sale price perspective, a really low December, and so we've started to see January has kicked back up. And so sometimes January is better, sometimes it's worse, about 50-50 if you're looking at the averages over the last 8 years. But it's usually a reflection of December, January tend to kind of teeter-totter, and every single time February goes up, and we've seen that. And what we've actually seen is 4 times multiple offers in the $600,000 range, which was unheard of at the end of 2011. We've seen townhomes that have increased probably by about $10,000 in, 60 days. So we've seen some very big sale prices. I've looked at a couple of them and thought, wow, that is impressive. So we've started the year off really strong. I think some of that is due to the 2.99% mortgages, or at least the low mortgages. If you've been following the news, I'll put an article actually below the video about what you should be careful of when you're looking at those 2.99% mortgages. Okay, so they're not always the deal that people think they are, because they really reduce your flexibility, your financial flexibility to sort of rearrange your mortgage or keep your cash flow low or anything like that. Prepayments are a lot less. Let's look at some specific stats. And so if you remember last month's video, we talked about the fact that there was more than 100% of the listings that came out that sold, but the problem is there was a half to a third of the listings that came out in December, so that artificially inflated that number. Now we saw January had slightly more sales for townhomes, 23 in December, 25 in January, but we had many more come on the market, so that created a bit more of a balance effect. Okay, so we didn't have that extreme reduction in inventory. We didn't have some of the swallowing up from the fall. So semi-detached, same kind of thing. There was 13 sales off of 21. which is much more in line with what we saw through September, October, November. So things are kind of right back where they used to be. The days on the market a little bit higher, and part of that is because semis now are blowing right past 400 in a lot of cases. We've seen some semis listed for 500,000, which blows my mind. I remember when you used to buy, like a 3,000 square foot home in Milton for $250,000. So detached, same kind of thing. We're seeing the stats just kind of return back to normal. Days on the market sort of return, usually in a lot of cases go a little bit lower than December as well. So just steady, normal stuff for this time of year. I think we're going to see continued improvements as we get into to February. And so we're now over 50%. So out of 100 home sales, the stats for January said 52% of those homes sold, which means there's less than a 2-month supply. So if homes stopped coming on the market, it would take about 2 months to swallow up all the inventory, is what that means. And there's a section in the report that just has some people who, we've helped along the way. They've requested the report. These are actual people just like you. They've received the report, and so they've obviously had a positive experience. And I like this one here. Chuck looked professional and the buyer's agent looked amateurish. I remember that very specifically. So in an offer, what happened was the buyer's agent brought all these properties that justified their offering price, and I was just shooting them down, just saying, no, that one's not comparable. And that's what it's about. It's about defending your money as if it's ours. And that's really another one of our team philosophies. So have a look through this. I think it gives you a bit of a sense of what we're about. The reason I put the available listings is not because sale price and asking price oftentimes have nothing to do with each other. They can be way off. They could sell for less than asking, more than asking. But you can start to see where the clusters are. You can start to see generally what homes like yours are listing for. And like I said, I mean, we've seen the in all price ranges, we've seen some pretty amazing sales. If you're a seller, it's all good news pretty much coming down the pipe in the last, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks. So anyways, have a look through this. There's about 30 pages of this stuff here. And if you want any more specific information about those homes, or if you want to eventually see what they sell for, just send us an email. It's easy for us to fire something off to you. And so you can also go to the website and you can see all the PDFs. You can actually see specific links to sale prices as well, and that's all on the online website. And then there's 3 things that you can do next. So the first one is we could do a pinpoint price analysis, and so we can tell you what we think based on historical sales and your competition, where the right price would be for you today. And 2 weeks from now it could be different. So that's why we do a very specific pinpoint price analysis. And because there's a lot of people in our industry that tell you what you want to hear instead of the truth, what we do is we even guarantee to sell your home in 60 days or less at that price, because we want you to know that we're telling you the truth and that you can rely on those numbers. And the guarantee is that if I can't sell it, then there's a hit to my fees, because I want you to know that we have some skin in the game, the same as you do. Now the second is the room-by-room review, so you can actually have us come over and we'll set up a plan for every room and say, this is what you need to do, here's what you don't need to do, because sometimes people are a little misguided. Maybe they watch a little too much HGTV, and they sort of self-prescribe things that really aren't going to make, as I always say, the boat go faster. Okay, you don't spend $1 to make $1. That's silly. So we're looking for money multipliers. We're looking for things that are very valuable uses of your busy time. And the last thing is the silent market. So right now we're working with about 30 buyers with our team. And so maybe we've already got the buyer for your home. So before you consider listing your home or anything like that, touch base with us, see if we've maybe got someone who's looking for what you have. I could think of at least 5 or 6 of those people that have been waiting 6 months for a specific kind of home. And we also have something called Milton Daily Homes. So we do a daily review of all the listings that come out of Milton, kind of similar to what I'm doing with you on this video. And so that's at miltondailyhomes.com. But our mailing list is 7,500 people. And so I can send an email out sometimes if I know a bit more about a home, and I can say, hey, are you interested in something like that? And we sell homes all the time without putting them on the market. I would think at least 4 or 5 times a year we're finding matches off the market. So great opportunities there. Just touch base with us. I've left my email here. I've left my phone number, and we'd love to hear from you. And again, thank you for viewing this video. Thank you for being part of the Milton Price Report family. And we'll see you next month, and feel free to reach out if you need anything. Okay, have a great day.